Welcome to Sally Talk. Thanks so much for joining us. On Sally Talk, we're living our best lives with guests that are overcoming adversity, reinventing themselves, or following their dreams. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also, the show's available where you listen to podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, you name it. Also, you can listen live every Friday at 11 o'clock on Spreaker. Just check the link in bio on my Instagram. Thanks for listening, and we will get to our wonderful guest as soon as we hear from our sponsor. Have you been wanting to make healthy decisions for yourself and your family, but you don't know where to start? You're inundated all over social media and everything with don't use this, don't use that. Well, I'd be happy to offer a free consultation to go over everything that's common, that's current, and help you make healthy decisions for you and your family. Arbonne has for 40 years chosen not to use cheap, harmful ingredients that are commonly found in skincare, nutrition, and cosmetics. I've been using the products for 27 years. I've been with the company for 22 years, and I've learned a lot. Please take advantage of this offer. It's free, and then we can see what Arbonne products might be beneficial to you. So take advantage. You can find me at sallyholida.arbonne.com, or you can find me on Facebook at Sally Holida or Instagram. Arbonne, making the world a healthier place, one family at a time. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked my 2 little recorded openings. That's a new thing for me. And as you've walked through this podcast journey with me, I appreciate everybody's support. That's my new thing, is I have recorded openings. So those will be worked on and tweaked, but that was kind of exciting to do. All right. So today I'm so excited to have, I'll tell you somebody I've known a very long time, and you may know her as the famous Cinnamon Challenge YouTuber. She interviewed President Obama as because she was chosen as one of the YouTubers that had such a large following. And she was the one I thought that did the best interview, to be honest. I really thought that her interview was, she hit him with harder questions, I thought, than anybody else. But anyway, I've known GloZell Green. I said, or just GloZell. Are you kind of like Cher now? You're like, yeah, you're like Cher and Madonna, and yeah. So I've known GloZell for, I think, like almost 20 years because we know each other from church, and I've watched her career, and she's really a wonderful person, and she's been able to handle all of the fame and everything and stay pretty grounded, and I've been really impressed by that. So she has been lovely enough to agree to be a guest on my podcast. So GloZell, thank you so much for being on today.
Yes, I will be a guest on your podcast anytime. I'm sorry I'm not in your studio today. It's because, my car was stolen 3 weeks ago, and it is found, not found, then found again today. So as soon as we finish up, then I'm going to be driven to go find my car and find out what condition it is in. And that's just one of the easier things that I've gone through within the last 3 weeks.
It's really true. I know you've had a lot. Well, yeah, I always try to balance things out as tangible, right? The tangible things, those things are the things, right? And those we shouldn't worry about those emotionally, right?
Well, I didn't really get upset about the car because it was less than 20 minutes that I found that, like, oh, Kobe died. Oh my gosh. And his daughter died. Like, this can't be real. They were so young. They were so influential and rich and good looking. And I just can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. And then I go outside and my car is gone. So I was kind of like, well, I'm not planning funerals, like Vanessa, Mrs. Bryant, like she just lost her husband and daughter less than an hour ago,
Right.
So the car never really, it was just like, that's an inconvenience. But silly enough, because I live in a gated place that my purse was in there because I'm working on being more organized, but I call myself being organized, keeping everything together. So when my car was stolen, so was my ID, bank card. They had a really good, inside my Louis Vuitton, like they had everything. And I was like, oh man. So the ID has been very much an inconvenience, but little did I know that the following weekend would be worse. So right when I'm like, I'm strong, it's okay, it's all right. I'll get a car, I'll get my ID back. These are things that my ex, soon to be ex, we're divorcing, was like, oh, let me pick up GloZell. And I was like, okay, because I never had a problem with that. The next thing I know, the police are knocking on my door because she said that I abused her and all these things, and they found it not to be true and request that he bring her back. So the car still being missing, I still don't have it, has not really bugged me. Where
right,
that's the car I'm trying to keep since the car's been stolen. I've been to court. The CPS has been called. Child Protective Service has been called on me. Police have been called on me. There was a 911 call. Been called on my boyfriend. So I get the car back. That's gonna help out with a lot of inconvenience. Back to why I'm not in your studio.
Right. Well, we figured we could do Skype. So Skype is a beautiful thing. I like it. It works really well. Mm-hmm. So, no, I know it's unbelievable because you're also have a lot of things going on career-wise.
Yes. It's like, right when that happens, it would be beneficial to have a car to make it to. I've had several auditions. Like the career has gone just as beyond great, and only I can forget that I had a game show.
I know. I saw that you posted that you're like, oh, by the way, the other thing is I have a game show. Yes. So talk about the game show.
So we talked about, this company wanted to do something with me, and then like, maybe a game show. That was like 2018, maybe early 2019. So I usually check my emails to know, like, when I see something from my agent, where I'm supposed to be, what's the script. So this time it was like, oh no, they're gonna have cue cards. I'm like, okay, whatever it is that I'm doing, they're providing the clothes. They have to provide the car because I don't have a car. And whatever I got to say, I'm improv. Whatever, I'm good to go. I'll get that. Oh, you bumped your head? I heard a bump.
Oh, Zell's here, and then, unfortunately, this isn't. Oh, there you got. Oh, you got kisses from your mom on your head. You okay?
Okay.
So GloZell is GloZell's daughter, and she is my buddy, right, yeah. GloZell? We spent the day at the park
and she last week. That gets us those delicious chocolate bars.
Oh yeah, the Arbonne chocolate bars.
Yes,
she loves those.
She does. Here we go. So,
I need to get more.
She's the mom. I'm like, can mommy have any? She's sleepy. So where was I in
the game show? So you're improv. You can do this.
Right. So whatever it is, I'm glad that it's a job as opposed to it's an audition. It's like whatever it is, it's the gig. I don't know what I'm advertising. Okay.
I have lipstick on your.
I have lipstick. Let me finish my story. Okay. All right. So I get there and they're setting up things, and I'm just kind of looking around, like, okay. So I'm like, here's a cue card. It's like, hi, this is GloZell. Welcome to my game show. I'm reading. I'm like, game show, and they're setting up like it's elaborate. Like this is not like flighty at all. Like a lot was invested in this game. Like, and I'm like, I'm the only one that did not realize that I'm the host of a game show, and I'm sitting there like, okay, we're rehearsing. I'm looking at the script. I didn't have to have anything memorized. It was there, like, put it in your own words. Okay, all right. And then the next day we shoot. There was at least 20, 30 people that was working behind the scenes. I had my own personal police person, which was so nice to have the police working, to protect as opposed to called on me.
Right.
Yes. He was crazy. I'm like, hello, Mr. Officer. It's so nice to see you. And he's like, okay, great. I'm here to protect the sir. Like, yeah,
Right.
what
He could be there to talk to one that comes to talk to you, maybe. Maybe you could use him for that.
they were nice. The police that came, they were more than nice. They kind of
Hmm.
that like, you know, this we already checked her out. But he also said that we live in filth and squalor. And like now, I'm like, oh man, what does it look like in the back of me? But anyway, so um, so they had to look at the place, look at where I live, and you've seen where I live, and they were like, that's why we're here. We don't mean to bother you, and they were more than nice. But it's
Yeah.
still, I have like this. I don't know if you call it PTSD. I don't want to make light of someone who's really have it, but any knock, like Oza was knocking on the door, and I was asleep, and I was like, oh no, because I have this fear like, okay, they came back. They're gonna really take her, and of course Wednesday they were called again. So
But you know what? They don't take her. They know. They can tell. They can tell. So
I'm like,
this is
millions.
just this is just an awful,
She goes
awful
to
part.
school. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she goes to Miss Melodies, who's also a church member. Like they see her in dance class. She's there every week. It's not like Oza's not seen, So, but I guess there's something with just being the inconvenience because I know it's not true. Police know it's not true. CPS knows it's not true. I believe he knows it's not true, and that he's not, losing it. But maybe, I mean, in some capacity, yes. But anywho.
Yeah. Well, so what's the name of the game show? I was just curious.
Yeah,
Do you know the name?
Good. Is you good? Because I say, hello, this is GloZell. Is you okay? Is you good? Because I want to know. And it's called Is You Good? And then I'm like, Is You Good with GloZell? And they had, we picked up couples off the street and they asked them questions about finances and they get stuff dumped on them. It's really a cute kind of financial game show. And it's going to be on my YouTube channel. So that's where they're going to put it when they're ready. And have it all edited. And like I said, I was the only one that was not aware that I had a game show.
Oh, that's great. So they can find it on your YouTube.
Yes.
And it's named after you.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, that was a good thing that came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere because it's one of those things that you've just been talking about. And you're like, okay. Because at the time, like, oh, that's great. They're going to come up with a show for me. And then, a year goes by.
Right.
So you're not,
you've had a lot going on. You've had a lot happen in the last year.
Right.
So that's why. And, you were.
Because without a car, you're trying to figure out how to get Ozell to school, and how, pickups. And meanwhile, we're still doing drop off and pickups with her father. Like, oh, you called the police today. That didn't work, but here you go. I hope you bring her back.
Wow. Well, I'm hoping that, I hope after all this, when he's not getting nothing's happening, then maybe that's going to end.
Yeah, we go back to court in May. So hopefully by then it's out of your system. What right now is you get 3 weekends and a dinner on Wednesday with her, which is a lot, but basically you giving me a date night and we couldn't come up with that schedule without lawyers. It was almost the schedule that we had, but he lives 2 hours away, and I think the thing was to not do the driving. But now you've got to do 8 hours worth of driving on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, no. When I went through my divorce, we did mediation, and of course, we at the time didn't have enough money to write, like Adam Driver was in the movie Marriage Story, writing the $25,000 checks to the attorney. I wouldn't have been able to do that anyway. But we decided we'd rather keep the money and have it go to the kids than go to the lawyers. So we finally kind of worked it out. But it's hard. It's really hard to work all that stuff out. It's hard, and there's a lot of emotion.
I'm thinking, once you know that, for the most part, that they're going to give me most custody, she lives here 90%, that maybe you'll stop. But he had it all set up. She was supposed to start going to the preschool there. And, I guess I was going to be in jail, and that was going to be the plan. But, anyway, that didn't work out. I'm getting, this is where my faith really comes in, because, all these stories of gee, these miracles happen. I'm like, well, the police came to look at my place right before I scrubbed everything because I had people coming over for the podcast. So I'm talking to the social worker and she's like, you says you're a comedian. Where are you? Where's your comedy? Like, oh, I checked you out. I'm like, you're like, oh, you made my day. So I'm going, see, you came, your enemies, came for you, but it didn't work out.
Right.
For you. And so I'm like, okay. And so it's the same person. You keep calling the same people, so they know me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. You always seem to just kind of, you always stay very, I know you're a comedian, but sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean you're a happy person. Comedians aren't always necessarily happy people, as we know. And I did comedy back in the day, and I remember meeting people that would be super happy on stage, and then you'd meet them off stage, and it was like, you don't even want to be friends with them. They were not happy people. But you always seem to you seem to really kind of take things in stride, and you don't let things get you down too much. And you're very vulnerable. You're very like open and vulnerable. I love that.
It drives people crazy. Like I told Augustus, that the thing that's going to drive you crazy is that things don't usually make me mad too. I don't stay mad long. And now he's seeing it. I'm like, yeah, the car is gone. He's like, oh, you should be mad. I'm like, yeah, well, it's gone. He's like, well, guess what? And he was here when the police came. It's like, oh, I know you're mad. I'm like, yeah, but they said he has the returner. I know that I believe that he's not going to hurt her physically. I think that it could have done something going to the police station, have to be checked out. I don't know where that lies in your conscious or subconscious, but, so I'm like, it's not like she went to foster care. He's got her and he's got to return her. And then we went to court and now we've got a schedule. So you got to keep the schedule. You got to take her, you got to bring her back. So yes, now when the CPS was calling on him, I understand him being upset. Like I'm like, oh gosh, So I'm like, remember, it's.
But so do you think you think it's your faith, and do you just feel like, have you always been kind of optimistic that things are going to work out?
1,000% faith. I haven't had to rely on faith because life's been kind of easy. I feel like you're like, oh, you go to school, and I came here, and like, oh, comedy, stand-up is not working out. Let me go sit at the Tonight Show. Then YouTube came around. This is the time where it's like, oh my goodness, where I need this mustard seed faith right now, and this is all I have because what other triumphs and trials I've gone through. Like this is it.
Right. I kind of felt the same way. I went through most of my life not really having, I'd see other people really struggling and really suffering with things. And I was like, I didn't really feel like I ever had to do that. Right. And I always admired people. And then when you get hit with something, then it's like, oh, well, now it's my turn, I guess.
Right. Like, okay, it rolled long enough and we're going to hit all in the same 3 weeks.
Well, don't say that. One of my things that I always say is I know I fear God. I never feared God before, but I fear him because he thinks I can handle more. He knows how much I can handle, and I think he thinks I can handle a lot more than I think I can handle.
Right. I'm like, I get it. I'm humble enough. Thank you.
Yeah. So, please no more. Please no more.
More.
That the Tonight Show, I wanted to show you this. I can show you, but it's written. People on the podcast can't hear, but I wanted to show you. See this? This is it's a Oscar trophy from my niece Jennifer, best aunt, and that's because when Jennifer, I don't know if you remember, when Jennifer came out to visit a long time ago, I wanted to show her Hollywood, and you were standing online at the Tonight Show, and you got us in, and Jay Leno called her up on stage, so she gave me an award because of that.
Oh, that's so great.
But, that was one of my favorite things because you were trying to do stand-up and you're trying to break in and you were just trying to, like, figure it out, and other people were doing stand-up and you were trying to stand out. And it was so, what in the world made you go, did you just start going to the Tonight Show? He was your favorite comedian, right? Wasn't he your favorite stand-up?
My favorite comedian because I'm like, he made it and he's clean. And my whole thing was, like, I wanted to be a clean comedian. And other comedians are funny, but they use a lot of language, and that's fine too. I can laugh at all of it. But my personal style wasn't that. And I'm like, well, Johnny Carson was before Jay Leno, and for comics, that was the thing. If you got the thumbs up from Johnny Carson, oh my gosh, it just gives me chills. If you got that, if you got the chance to sit on that couch, then your life was made. You did it,
Right.
So I still kind of carried that over to the Tonight Show. I'm like, Tonight Show is the thing. But there's YouTube, there's Ellen DeGeneres, there's other shows. You can have a successful career and never be on television at all, and make millions of dollars from the internet or just traveling. Yes.
But that's what you showed everybody, because you were standing online trying to get on the Tonight Show, and you would go every day and you'd watch the show every day, and then you started recording people online, right?
Yeah. Yes, because I'm like, oh, Jay Leno needs to see who's in line to come visit him, because he doesn't get a chance to see all that. Well, it turns out I was just developing my interviewing skills and meeting so many people from all walks of life, people from every country in the world. And how couples are, and you're out there for hours,
right.
And it got to the point that people were emailing me, I'm going to be there on Tuesday, make sure can I have some tickets? I'm like, sure, I'll get tickets, people come by and honk. And I was in the paper, people have been in the radio, because like the girl who waits in line at the Tonight Show. Yeah.
And you did how many consecutive shows did you?
It was over 300.
Yeah. That you didn't miss, right? It was consecutive. Yeah.
Jay Leno doesn't miss a day. I'm not going to miss a day. I loved his work ethic. I just thought that, he was the greatest guy. And still do.
And then you started uploading the videos onto your YouTube, right?
Right.
Of interviewing people. And that's kind of how that all started. And YouTube was brand new, right?
No, I didn't think anything of. I'm like, I'll just put these up here, so anybody from the Tonight Show can see. And then over the weekends, I started thinking of like, okay, there's this character, and this is what I thought of this, and videos started to hit, but I didn't realize that was a real audience. I'm like, I'm just hoping that Jay Leno saw something. That's it. I'm the comedian to the one comedian.
Right.
In my craziness, that's what I was thinking, and from that it took off. It took off. People started recognizing me in the streets and want to take pictures with me, and because this is the time where people are starting to have their own laptops at home, to have their own cell phones. This was the time where, not everybody had a cell phone. And so as the years was going on, it was easier to see what I was posting. And now they're in line taking pictures and posting. And so it was great. So I was one in the beginning and early. Yes, Ozell.
Yeah, it really was amazing to watch it happen. It was cool. It was kind of like, you need a documentary. They should do a documentary on that.
It is pretty crazy. That's what happened from sitting out there to the Tonight Show to the White House.
To the White House, and then 4 million plus followers, right?
Yes, and that's on YouTube. And then there's also, that's 1.4 million on Instagram. And throughout all my social media, it's like 8 million,
It's...
And for the most part, I would say clean, because if I wasn't clean, I think there would be millions more people like to click in on crazy potty mouth kind of stuff. But I always think, like, what if my pastor watches this? Like, it's bad enough if I'm swimming in cereal in a bathtub, but I can't, that's probably bad enough. But I just don't, want to overly embarrass my church family.
Right. Has he ever said anything to you? Has he ever commented on anything? Has he ever watched anything?
Not that I know of. But he does know the reaction of the youth at the church.
Oh, yeah. So you went on the mission trip. I did 2 mission trips before you, and then you did the last mission trip with the youth. And people were recognizing you in Denver, right? When you guys were out and about.
So that made the kids feel good, and I felt cool, because like, okay, this is my church fam, and that was great. I don't know. I wouldn't know if I didn't realize we were going to be on the floor, and I'm like, what class are we flying? They're like, GloZell. I was like, oh, okay. I with the kids, economy, got it. Okay. So it was great.
Oh yeah, it's something. It's something traveling with a pack of high schoolers.
A pack of high schoolers, but we have good kids.
We have great kids at our
Really
church. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But all so you guys are all on. Were you? No, you were separated into two groups. We were when I went. We were all together in one room
That's
on
terrible.
blow up mattresses.
We had little blow up mattresses, and that was fine. And it was nice to get away because I got to think, and I'm like, okay, when I go back, this is like a mountaintop experience. When I go back to the valley, what am I really going to do? And I felt like a voice just as clear as day was like, he can't go to the next level with you. So you want to stay here or you want to go somewhere else? And I was like, okay. So I was thinking, I think I need to leave. Because we were doing separate lives kind of thing, not arguing or anything. It's just like I did my thing and he did his. With separate rooms, no problem. No, nothing like we're arguing. No, wasn't like that. But then he said, I'm not going to ever support you. I'm not going to go to any of your shows. And then that kind of woke me up. I'm going, what am I doing? I could be at peace at home, It's really no different. It's just that knowing that I'll have peace by myself. If you're not going to support, and that's fine. Fame is not for everybody. That could be, there's a dog walking by. So cute.
Oh, that's my dog. Yeah. Yeah. We're on Skype. We can see each other. So those listening.
So it was like, what, this is not how I want to live. And Oza would say, oh, daddy's not talking to you. Daddy doesn't speak to mommy. And I was like, well, is that horrible? No, people stay in much horrible conditions, and I was like, no, I need to go. But guess who's on his side? My mother. It's just like,
that's rough.
Right. I'm like, just add that on. You should stay. That's the father of your child. You worked so hard to get a child and now you're leaving the father. I'm like, no. But I'm glad I did because Augustus is amazing. like if getting accused of child abuse doesn't make you run away, I think we're going to do pretty good.
Yeah, well, you need somebody, especially if you're going to be in entertainment, you have to have somebody who's supportive, or you can't have it pulling you down.
Right.
You can't have anything that's keeping you from being you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when fans would come up, then I'm like, oh no, don't come up because he's going to be so upset. So now I was honestly thinking that he would be happier. You don't have to deal with the ins and outs of being with GloZell, but I don't know.
And there was no talk about going to therapy or anything like that?
Yes, I went to couples therapy by myself.
Oh, well, see, that's not as helpful.
Right. I'm like, he came a few times and then, Zell, do you see it? A few times and then stopped going. And so it got to the point, I'm like, why am I going? That was the last straw. The therapy, not going to therapy was, because he can get it for free. He's retired from the service. So there was no excuse. He just wasn't ready to do that. And maybe he is now. And he'll be great for somebody else after he does all this. Because sometimes when you lose everything, you're like, I don't want to do that again.
Right.
No,
that's true. You have a moment where you figure out that maybe I need to do something. Maybe I need to do something different. So that's interesting that when you went on the mission trip that you kind of had time. That's true. Because when you go, they went to the Tennyson Center in Denver, which is a place where they take care of neglected and abused foster children. And it really, you are kind of isolated from the world for a week. I bet that was nice for you to have kind of like that break. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah. And so I was away from home for 10 days. And it was like, okay, I'm like, well, if you'd rather stay at the Tennyson Center with abused children than go back home, then maybe you need to recognize, yes.
Something needs to change.
Something needs to change. So I felt like I was needed, I was wanted, and the kids enjoyed me, I enjoyed them, I'm like, there was a sense of peace there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, no,
I felt like that too. I was very inspired by those kids that I felt like if they could overcome kind of the things that they're going to need to overcome, I thought then I should be able to figure this out,
right.
For me too.
So that's where I was. And I'm going, okay, all right, it's time to go. And I really did not, I was like, okay, I just need to have the means to take care of 2 households. That's what I was thinking I would have to do. But then he got this great job through someone at our church. I was like, come on, because I'm always like, if you just get out the house, if you just meet some people, then maybe you wouldn't be depressed or sad or whatever. And so there's a couple at our church that I'm like, come on, let's go. They have the twins,
Mm-hmm.
And so now they have another one. So we went over there and they clicked, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then eventually a job came from that, and I'm like, okay, good. And then something says now it's time to go,
Mm-hmm.
take care of himself. Because the whole time I'm thinking I still was going to take care of, like, if I had to meet, But I also thought, Lord, wasn't I supposed to get the job? Like, what, shouldn't I get the great job? But he got the job, and that worked out. And I'm like, I still got to go. And I really didn't have the means to go. And it just all worked out. Just a random check from Trolls. And I don't know how I'm going to do. Oh, random check from Wreck-It Ralph 2. Just when I'm like, I don't know. Like, we were in, GloZell and I in Vanity Fair. And when the cover came out in Vanity Fair, also eviction notice. I'm just like, I'm famous, though. Do you not care? You don't care that I am famous? I'm literally on every newsstand right now. No? Still? You want money? So that's what's been crazy.
That is crazy. Did you show him the picture and say I'm on Vanity Fair? I mean,
Look at this. I am famous.
That's a great picture too. That is the cutest picture too. It's so cute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's in front of the house of the family that I just told you about.
So, well, then here's the thing. So then that's kind of what led you to, because now you just launched this week your own podcast, Glowing Up. And you've been very open and vulnerable in that. So does that...
podcast was going to be like, just my friends just giving me advice on being a single mom. I'm like, okay, we'll go with that. But then bomb after bomb after bomb kept landing. And so it turned into what do I do? Now my car is stolen. What do I do? The police were here. What do I do? The CPS was here. What do I do? Yes, baby. The baby has to go potty. So go put the baby on the potty, okay?
That's how you be a single mom. You have listen, when I do our bond, there used to always be kids in the background. This is how we do it. Yeah.
And, trying to figure it out. And then this guy comes out of I'm like, I wasn't expecting to have a boyfriend when I'm just trying to, get rid of one. I'm like, I don't want to see a guy. I don't care. I just need to take care of GloZell. It's all good. So there you go. And he's been amazing. He's been more than great. And he's had to deal with a lot, because here he is. He meets somebody, and then now she has no car. No access to any money because they have no cards, no ID. And you're getting accused. I got accused first, and then now you're getting accused, So that's a lot going on. And he's, since Christmas.
Yeah, but he's still, this is the thing. It's it's not pretty. It's like when you go through things, you go through divorce or anything, it's not pretty. And so some people have to, it might be a blessing to him to help you,
Yeah.
You're really independent. I know how that is, being independent. And it's like you think you're supposed to take care of everything yourself. And if somebody helps you with anything that shows weakness, and you're like, oh, I can't show weakness. So that's why it might be a blessing to him. This has been a big thing I didn't understand until now. That it's a blessing for people to help.
Right.
He might feel needed. He might feel wanted. He's
definitely needed. He's definitely wanted, and definitely appreciated. And because of him, I think that's when things really started to trigger other parties to start throwing these daggers at us. When I really thought he didn't care. I didn't think it was his father cared. And I'm like, okay, let's just separate. Okay. All right. Well, here's the divorce papers. He turned his papers in before mine. There was no, I was like, okay, we're definitely on the same page. Then Augustus shows up, and then I'm like, I really didn't think he would care because we never went out. We never went anywhere. You barely see any pictures of us together. And then, phew, everything went crazy. So I'm thinking he'll go back to his regular self of like, okay, and get your own life instead of trying to destroy this one.
Right.
I do that. Like, I don't have any hard feelings. I just wish you'd stop. That'd be great. And move on. Especially since I have to see you all the time. It's not like, oh, you made false accusations. You get to stay away. It's like, no, I still see you.
Right. Well, that's what happens when you have kids. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like you have to keep it going. And it's better that way. It's better that way. You don't want to have to, you got to work it out, and you got to show the children that you can work it out. It might take a while, but you have to, you'll eventually work it out. Has it helped you being like open and telling your story through the podcast episodes?
Oh, the podcast has been therapy because here I am, have these experts on who's been parents longer than me, or my therapist, or life coaches, or yourself. I'm like, this is what just happened, and now that's what we're talking about. I don't know what we were going to talk about. I really don't know, but this is what happened. We were just accused of this and this and this. And everybody has their own take on it and how you'd be strong and go on, and forgiveness. I was like, I didn't want to hear that one, but that's where we are.
Oh, was that my episode? Was my episode the forgiveness one?
Yeah, I was like,
I think it was one of them. Yeah. And then you said was it because the Carney Wilson is one of your the people you interviewed, and you were talking about that song.
Oh my goodness. I know that there's pain, but you hold on to one more day and you break free from the chains. I'm like, did you know when you wrote that song that you were singing my life?
Isn't that crazy that you hear a song that like you know all the words and everything else, and then you go through something and all of a sudden it sounds like a whole different song to you, and it becomes like your song.
Yeah, so like, this is my mantra right here.
This is my mantra, and it's that song has been out for 20 years, has it? Or is it 30 years?
Like 27.
Oh, geez, that's when I feel old. Is when I hear about songs that are out. I think it was like the movie Clueless has been out 30 years or something like that. That's just not right. It's just weird.
So I don't know how you did it with 4 boys. 4?
I don't know if I definitely did it. I did something. I raised them.
Yes, and they're great. They're great kids.
Yeah, they're doing all right. That's what's fun is that you've known them since they were little.
Yeah.
I remember when you were, because we used to do camps. Yeah, when there were 3 of them.
There's 3 kids and then 4. Okay, yes.
You used to always volunteer. GloZell always volunteered for all the camps. You were always at all the camps. You were at drama camp.
Yes.
You were at music camp, right? You were at VBS.
Yes.
And the kids always loved you. And this is all before you were a mom yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way before, years before. So, I mean, when I first got there, it was like Josh's first day. So he was there for like 16, 17
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's like we got there the same day, and Pastor was talking about retirement, and obviously that didn't take.
No.
He's still, he's like,
yeah, I know. I bring that up to people that our pastor actually did talk about retiring like 17 years ago.
Like, I think it's time for me to retire. I was like, oh no, I just found this great church and the pastor's retired, and
No, I felt the same way because I think I've been there only a couple of years before that, and I was like, oh, you're kidding me! I love this pastor, and he's going to retire. And he just celebrated last year. For anyone who doesn't know any of our church information who's listening, he just celebrated his 50th anniversary with our church.
Yes, he's not going anywhere.
And he said an act of God will take him out. That's what he said.
He showed up to the mission trip, and the kids just flipped. I mean,
yeah,
love them just as much as your kids loved them when they were little. And Oza, going up to Pastor Bob is like Santa Claus every day. He's just amazing, and I'm glad he didn't retire.
No, I know. It's crazy. I remember my kids said, I remember Jeff when he was little, he said, I love that Pastor Bob has such long arms because he can hug us all at the same time. I thought that was a great sentence. But yeah, we have a really great church community. We have a good church group. And you were gone for a little bit because you were so busy. Yes. And then when you had Ozell, you came back on a more regular basis.
I definitely want her to grow up in the church, because even if you think, okay, they're just there to color, there to sit the children's message, it's in there. When you do the kids, it's in there. And when you, by yourself as a grown person, you might be singing, this little light of mine. It's one of those songs from back then that's ingrained in you that's going to help you go to the next day when mom and dad is not physically sitting right there, and that's what I want for her. And I was there, and I go, because now I have her this weekend, but she won't be there for Easter, and I don't know what they're going to do there, but she'll be dressed up. I think it's flowers, where the kids bring the flowers. I don't know.
Oh, that's the week before. Yeah, the Palm Sunday. They do a floral processional, and that's the weekend. That's the Sunday before Easter, so you can do that.
Like Ash Wednesday. I'm like, maybe this day, because I was hoping it was so she could see be a part of it. But everyone at the church is so nice. Ty's giving me the music so she can still learn the songs. Because Ozell, the kids were singing. You're supposed to be 5, and at 2, she just walked up and joined the choir. They were singing in the sanctuary, and she walked up. They're like, oh, she needs to be 5. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just start bringing her to choir rehearsal, and they let her stay. But now, she won't. We'll see.
I'd hold her. I'd hold her when she was a baby.
Y'all both need to get out because y'all both were just laughing and having a good time at church.
I know. I was like not a good influence. At least I wasn't giving her my phone. But the music would play, and when she was just starting to put weight on her legs, she stood up on my lap, and I was like, and when the organ started playing, so she definitely, she absolutely loves having, being there and hearing all the music, and especially the percussion. I can always tell she really loves the percussion. Well, I always felt like even if kids get older. And, you and I were raised in a church. And so my feeling is that if you want to get older and you want to get in your 20s and you want to rebel, you need to rebel from something. You can't rebel from nothing.
Right.
So that was kind of my idea, was that I raise them there. And then if they come out of it going, this isn't what I believe, I want to go to something else, at least they're going from something else, Okay. And our church was kind of about as close as you can get to what I believed, Because we're very open, and I feel
yes, it's like
everybody's welcome.
You're welcome. It's not fire and brimstone type of church at all.
Were you raised? What kind of church were you raised in? Were you raised in that kind?
More so, there's no way that the things that we do at our church or the people that we have at our church would feel comfortable at the church that I grew up with. Oh well, love California.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's something. So, all right. So what do you got going on? You have your podcast, which is called Glowing Up.
Glowing Up, and make sure you check out Miss Sally Holliday's episode. Is really good. It's powerful good. And so that's Glowing Up. Spotify, Apple, all the major ones that you can find podcasts. And of course my YouTube channel, and be looking for Is You Good, the game show. I'm still auditioning, doing everything. I'm on Instagram, and just your positive well wishes. Hopefully I'll have a car today. And
let's hope this all is part of the past, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'd be great.
Everything wraps up.
People will see folks for a picture on the Instagram or Facebook, and they wish that they had their lives, but you really don't know what's going on. I get a lot of free stuff like, okay, thank you. Tomorrow, my friend's like, you want to go see Oprah? I got an extra ticket. I'm like, yes. So you seeing me at Oprah like, oh, I wish I had a life. But meanwhile, You know, I bummed a ride. I'm hoping that this knock on the door is not the police coming to take us. Like, so much going on. Just enjoy your life. Just know that you are important and that you don't have to wish to be someone else. You know, just you are enough. So if you like what I do, great, watch it, but you don't have to wish to be me because there's a lot going on, y'all.
Well, I think that's what I really admire you for, is that you're really kind of not trying to pretend, because, you know, as somebody was saying, like, you know, vulnerability is the new thing. You know, it's like people really don't want to see fake anymore. You know, they're very savvy to it. They're savvy to editing. They're savvy to, you know, what is it, filters, and there's and Photoshop. I mean, I love watching your hair journey, and your hair looks very nice. Nobody can really see it, but I can see it, and her hair looks really nice. But your hair journey about how you're learning how to like do different things with your hair, and that's like really but it's cool though, because I think it does inspire people. Because a lot of times people look at social media and they think, oh, these lives are so much there. Why can't my life be as great as theirs? You know. And it's the old saying, you know, everybody has their problems to bear. Yep.
Yeah, I have my cross to bear, and this is where I am, and I feel like we almost coming out of it, you know, but daggers are still being thrown, and I'm thinking they'll just get tired.
Yeah, well, and then like we've said back and forth between the two of us, you know, God is still walking with us. You know, I got that message early on after John died, and I really believe it, and I hear it all the time. It's weird how I hear it all the time. I hear it in a song. I hear somebody say it, and it always reminds me, and that's always been my phrase, is God's walking with me. And I really believe it, because I feel like it just when I think I'm, you know, I sit there and go, oh, wow, how could anything worse happen? And then I go, nope, he's walking with me. There's a reason.
Right. And I'm seeing who has really stepped up. It's easy to have a lot of friends when everything's fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so true.
But I'm like surprised at the people who've not around and the people who've stepped up, you know? So there you go.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being on. And I want to throw out, if anybody, you are also an Arbonne consultant.
Yes.
We have to throw that out there. And you did try some of the Arbonne shakes and everything in this last month.
Your, was it fuzzy?
Oh, aren't they good?
They are good, but the bars I can't keep in the house at all. And the chews.
Oh, yeah, the chews. So the chews are dangerous.
The chews, most delicious. And the bars, GloZell, I just like, well, they're hers is basically what they're. Can I have a bar? So I'm like, I feel good that it's not like a candy bar, you know, it's not so bad, you know. I'm like, okay, great. You know,
no, it's 10 grams of vegan protein. It's very good for her.
So I'm like, good. This is great.
Have that be her comfort food.
Mm-hmm. It is, and I feel good giving it to her. I'm like, okay, good.
Well, if anybody's interested in any of those products, you can actually purchase those from GloZell. She has her own Arbonne site, right?
Yeah, so you're going to put a link, a click to that? Or
I'll put a link to that as well.
All right. Thank you so very much. And just know that when you purchase, everything you do is really going to help court fees and all the stuff that I got to do. And that it's
real thing.
Real issues, real things. Because this is my life, and that's where it is, and I'm gonna get through it. And I'm very thankful for the Arbonne family. This is perfect. I mean, really.
Yeah. Well, no, and I'm here for you. And listen, it's my pleasure, and it's a blessing for me to be able. When I watched GloZell, that was like just super fun, because my kids are older now, and to watch her and hang out with her at the park was just so much fun. So, you know, I told you, anytime you need a babysitter, I'm here for that. So
and she meant it, you know, and I took her up on it, you know. So
yeah, it was great. It was super fun. That could be and you know, like after church. That was easy after church too. Yeah. So yeah, I could bring her along to have lunch with my mom. My mom just loves her. My mother just thinks she is the most beautiful child. She is, but my mother goes on and on about how beautiful GloZell is. Oh, there's that GloZell. Look over there. There she is. I'm like, I see her, Mom.
Just like
So, all right, Ozell. All right, GloZell. Thanks so much. So I will, click in I'm going to fill in all the information, all the links, GloZell's new podcast and everything else, and her new game show on her YouTube channel. I'll put all of that in the information. You can check it all out and subscribe to it, and also comment on the iTunes, because she just launched it. So the more comments and the reviews on iTunes for her podcast, the better. And oh my gosh, if you guys could see how cute they are. I should
listen to what she's saying. Say it, Ozell.
Wow.
I want a bar.
Oh, you want a bar? I know.
Now.
Well, I'll have to make that happen.
Yes,
I'll have to make that happen. I'm going to bring her back and I'll take a picture. So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. And thanks again, GloZell. And I know you're going to be fine. I know you're going to be fine because you have a good attitude about all of this. So, all right. So thanks everybody for listening. And we will talk to you again next week.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.